Listen, late night has reportedly become more left-leaning than ever. There's new data from Newsbusters revealing a staggering 92% of jokes targeted conservative pundits through 818 episodes reviewed. Now, there were over 12,000 jokes made about the GOP, over 7,000 of them being about President Trump. Now, when it comes to hosting various guests, the difference in political views are as radical as ever. Liberal guests outnumber conservative guests almost 100 to 1. Across Kimmel, Colbert, Fallon, and other late-night hosts, 197 guests were liberal, with only 2 being conservative. One of them was our very own Greg Gutfeld, who appeared on Fallon. Now, another study finding similar data about The View. Among their 341 guests in 2025, only 2 of them were conservative, and those 2 leaning guests, well, it was HHS Secretary Kennedy's wife, Cheryl Hines, and Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene. All right, John, I'm starting with you. Yes, snap out of it. Speaking of liberal, I guess, SNL. Did you get Cher? She looks amazing. I got off track, but she looked amazing. What do you think about this?
Well, this explains why no one watches late-night TV anymore. I looked up the figures, and Johnny Carson would average about 17 million viewers a night, 17 million in a smaller country. Now, any of these guys are lucky to get 2.5 million. So no one's watching these shows because they become so political. People are turned off. You'd watch Carson. He wasn't making a lot of political. He'd just make fun of whoever was president for being silly. And this is why someone like Gutfeld, I was amazed when I looked these figures up. Gutfeld is now the #1 late-night show host. People pay money to watch Gutfeld late at night. So that explains the other thing. But I think the answer is we should all go on and have our own late-night show. Obviously, we would do way better, and we would promise to be nicer to the guests and not make long political speeches. And we'd do really well in the ratings, too. And we could have Nicki Minaj on and double the number of conservative guests on late-night TV.
So listen, I mean, they definitely don't make them like Johnny Carson anymore. That's for sure. But Lisa, John is saying how Carson got like 17 million viewers a night and what have you. And now, but with such splintered viewing options, it's no wonder that these folks are making, have a much smaller audience. So is it that because there's so many options out there, or do you feel that the audiences are turning them off?
Well, one, I appreciate John's enthusiasm for us and our ability to be funny and tell jokes. I'm not sure
easy.
I share the same level of, I don't know how well we would do in that arena, but, thank
You're making me laugh all the time, Lisa.
All right, well, I'll take it. I think it's a combination of things, right? Like, it's the cord cutting, it's the online stuff. But there is an audience for late night comedy, and Greg Gutfeld shows that, right? Because he's funny, he's not predictable. And I think that's why these late night talk shows and hosts are falling flat, because can comedy be funny if it's so predictable, where you're alienating like 77 million Americans, and then you're boring the rest of the people who are tuning in. So I think that's why you've seen, over the last decade, like, half of the audience go away, ad revenue decline as well. Also, history is riddled and littered with people who have tried to destroy Trump and end up destroying themselves. Look at all the primary opponents against President Trump. Look at all, Hillary Clinton, Joe Biden, Kamala Harris. ABC's taken it on the chin for, in lawsuits against, President Trump, suing them as well. The mainstream media is in decline because of him. So I think when sometimes you take on President Trump, you end up destroying yourself in the process, which we've seen.
Rosanna, but, listen, we're talking about the splintered audience, but they still have their audience that they're serving. So is it the case that the producers are giving the audience what they want?
Possibly, because I know when Greg was on Jimmy Fallon, he did a fantastic job. But Jimmy Fallon got some blowback by having Greg Gutfeld on. And listen, Greg is the king of late night TV. The other thing, like Jay Leno, you talked about, Carson. But Jay Leno also, who followed in his footsteps, was also major ratings. He said he would never do politics, at least not regularly, because, as he said, why alienate half the country? I think, and also, you're not just poking fun at the leaders, you're poking fun at the people who believe in those leaders. You're calling them out. You're deplorables. You're whatever. It's not funny. Well, it's not funny.
It's kind of like going to a music concert, too. You turn on these shows so you can laugh, period. All right.
Hey, it's Will Kane. Click here to subscribe to the Fox News channel on YouTube. It's the best way to get our latest interviews and highlights. And click to subscribe to the Will Cain podcast for full episodes right now.